you see a review in a while, and I'm going to do one because this is a pretty exciting card. A solid night of undercard fights, although the main card kind of was a tad bit of a letdown. On the undercard, we saw Tyler Toner with a nice knockout of Brandon Vischer. Nice fight. Takei Mizugaki in a fight we didn't see beat Ronnie Yaya. Chad Mendez guillotined Anthony Morrison. Brad Pickett had a pretty solid showing, actually, I must say. Against Demetrius Johnson, I was kind of hoping he would finish Johnson, but there was a lot of effort there, and I earned a fair amount of respect for Demetrius Johnson on the matter. He fought well for a guy who, really didn't have any wins over anyone, terribly notable, and had dominated some fights, but hadn't really struck me as a massive prospect. But it was a good fight. Pickett could take him down. He could pick him apart on the feet. Pickett generally just doing what he wanted to, and except for finishing Johnson. So, props to Johnson. Strong showing from him, and I look forward to seeing him fight again because it was an exciting fight. And Pickett just continues to work his way up the ladder. Anthony Pettis versus Alex Karalexis. Karalexis, didn't get dominated in this fight by any means, but Pettis submitted him with a triangle from bottom. A very nice job. He was winning the stand-up where there was. Karalexis took him down a couple times. Worked a little ground and pound, but nothing of a terribly significant nature. A couple of submission attempts by Pettis. He got the triangle finally. Pettis is working his way up. He's probably in the title picture. I kind of would like to see him fight. Donald Cerrone would be a really nice fight, except I want to see Donald Cerrone maybe fight Jamie Varner and finally settle that score. So I don't know about that. Maybe he's the guy to fight Ben Henderson next, although I think perhaps Shane Roller might be in that position. So it's probably one of those two. Or perhaps if it was Ed Ratcliffe. I'd like to see that. Leonard Garcia, Chan Sung Jung. Didn't really agree with this decision. I thought Chan Sung Jung won. This was an exciting fight, but I don't know if I would use the term great fight because the stand-up in this fight, and it was a predominantly stand-up fight, was just not very good in a technical sense. But it was a great brawl. Very entertaining fight. If you haven't seen it, go see it because this is a fight that it will make you cheer. And a lot of respect for both guys' heart levels and chins. Not so much respectful of their ability to actually strike. And I kind of worry about, if they fight a serious striker, if they really have much of a hope. That's about it. Garcia did have a nice armbar from a bit of a weird position, and Chan Sung Jung got out of that. I thought Chan Sung Jung won rounds 1 and 2, and round 3 went to Garcia. Garcia, however, takes the split decision. It kind of is what it is. Scott Jorgensen, Antonio Banuelos. This was a pretty good fight. Again, the first round of Banuelos, the second and third round of Scott Jorgensen. Scott Jorgensen kind of showing that he's developed nicely. His stand-up looked better than it has. He managed to take Banuelos' back a couple times. Couldn't finish him, though. So, Banuelos continues to show, I don't think it really matters who you put him in there with. He's going to give a decent accounting of himself, and he did in this case. But Jorgensen with the win. Jorgensen, probably title contention. After Dominic Cruz, after Joe Benavidez, I think you're probably looking at Scott Jorgensen. Because Banuelos, he was pretty high on the list. Jorgensen was on a bit of a roll. So, we're kind of looking at that. Jorgensen beat Sakai Mizugaki, of course, as well. So, he's got 2 really big wins and definitely a guy to look forward to at the 135-pound weight class. Anthony Njokuani versus Shane Roller. And I found it kind of weird that people really thought Anthony Njokuani had this kind of in the bag because I thought, Shane Roller's a D1 wrestler. He's got some good subs. And he just kind of showed it. I mean, Njokuani kept him from taking him down for a while, but, he got him down. He got his back, and he submitted him. And this was kind of how I thought the fight would go, although I think it was kind of banking on guillotine because Shane Roller seems to like those. But is what it is, I guess. Shane Roller probably in semi-title contention with that win, mainly because probably the number 2 and 3 guy in the division are Varner and Cerrone, who have both been beaten by Ben Henderson, by stoppage, and Henderson also with the decision win over Cerrone. So it seems a bit weird that Chain Roller might be in title contention, but he's kind of up there. I mean, it's him or Anthony Pettis, I think, really, to get the next shot. Then you have, unless you want to do a Varner rematch, I guess. Then we had Manny Gambirian, Mike Thomas Brown. Manny Gambirian knocking out Mike Thomas Brown, which is disappointing because I highly wanted to see Mike Thomas Brown versus Jose Aldo again. I mean, I think that's still a pretty interesting fight, even after what we saw in the main event, which we'll get to. But you knocked out by Manny. Manny's got power, but it's not exactly the greatest sign in the world for your title hopes and your hopes for a top 5 spot at featherweight. Where does Manny go? Manny is undefeated at featherweight since he's come down from the UFC's lightweight division. This is his first big note. Well, he beat Leonard Garcia as well, if I recall correctly. And so yeah, he's probably looking at somewhere near a title shot too with the main event fight that happened tonight. The winner of that possibly against Manny. He's got 3 wins in a row. I don't really know, who else would be really the guy to contend for that title at this particular juncture. Anyways, Donald Cerrone, Ben Henderson. Kind of disappointed in Ben Henderson or Donald Cerrone in this one, tapping up to a guillotine. Not that I think it's a bitch move or anything, but I just kind of had higher hopes, and I was picking him to win the fight. Which at this point my picks had been pretty solid. Manny ended I won 7 of the first 8 fights and then lost 2 in a row here. So I was a bit disappointed with that. Donald Cerrone, let's have that fight with Varner. Let's have Cerrone Varner too. Let's settle that score and put a number 1 contenders match together between Roller and Pettis and see who ends up fighting against Ben Henderson for the title. The fight that really deserves talking about, though, Jose Aldo versus champion Jose Aldo defending against Uriah Faber. The first round I could see possibly going to Faber. I believe one judge did give it to him on the basis of aggression and quantity of punches versus the quality of Aldo's punches and also knocking him on his butt. But it wasn't what you would call a knockdown particularly. But Aldo, Faber had no answer for Aldo's leg kicks. He had no answer for Aldo's speed. He couldn't take him down. He couldn't hold him down. I gained a fair amount of respect for Faber's heart, though, as a guy who, I still don't particularly like him. But he's an exciting fighter to watch, and, I give him props for not quitting. Because it would have been very easy to quit in that fight. Josh Rosenthal let him take a lot of beating. Whoa, Jesus. Maybe a little too much, but it's a personal preference. I really have a huge problem with it. His corner, though, see, this is one of those times where I just feel the corner should throw in the towel, though. Just because you watch this fight, and Aldo is just dissecting him. He completely screwed up Faber's left leg to the point where he, really was pretty much limping for the 4th and 5th round. Props to his corner for doing a pretty good job of icing that and getting him out there getting him out there for each round and at least for a minute or so being able to move. But then the leg kicks just came right back in and bam, he's again kind of just not doing it right. Aldo's kicks pretty vicious. Cecil Peoples, yes, leg kicks can win you a fight. A little hard if you just throw nothing but leg kicks, but it can win you a fight and basically was the case for Aldo, although I believe he, won the boxing exchanges as well. Those leg kicks were the exclamation point that just kind of solidified how dominant he was in this fight. He had Faber's back in the later rounds. He had crucifix on Faber. He had Faber mounted. I was surprised there was no 10-8 rounds from, I think 2 judges, which was kind of surprising. I had, the 5th round. I guess the 5th round, Aldo kind of got calm, but the 4th round definitely was something you really got to look at as a 10-8 or 10, possibly even a 10-7. That's how dominant it was. Ed Suarez fighter is not going for the kill lately. I don't blame. I can't say I blame Aldo, but I don't know. The way I look at it, not finishing someone in a fight when you can in that way is not the greatest idea, because he could come out of nowhere and hit spinning back fist, knock you out, and suddenly you don't have the title anymore, and I mean, I guess Aldo would probably quickly steadily rise to get a rematch and then beat the crap out of Faber again. But it's still taking unnecessary risk. I would have liked to see him end it the third or fourth, particularly the fourth round, if he could. I suppose he didn't try in the crucifix position, but I don't know. I don't know what he maybe could have done, but I just kind of got the sense that he wasn't really going for the killing blow on this one. But it was a good card. The undercard was exciting. The free fights on Spike were exciting. The main card was a little bit dull. A lot of quick fights and the crap kicking of Uriah Faber. But what are you gonna do? It was a card that lined up pretty nicely and delivered pretty close to its promise. So later.